Hey viewers, in a previous video I showed how to create dynamic name ranges that automatically adjust as the data expands or even shrinks. Now that worked with both standalone Excel and Microsoft 365, but in today's video I'm going to show you an alternate method that works specifically for Microsoft 365, and I'll be using the trim range function for that. Now, regardless of what version you're using, if you haven't seen my other video, I invite you to check it out because I show how dynamic name ranges are more flexible than the traditional method of selecting from and to ranges. They also provide improved performance over selecting entire columns and rows. So this is the same workbook that I used in the previous video. I've just added the 365 components, which we're going to go through. Now, if you haven't used the trim range function before, it allows you to trim leading and or trailing blanks from around a specified range. So it gives you the used data range. Now, while it is dynamic to a degree, it does need some, let's say, helper functions in order to make it truly dynamic, and I'll explain that. So let's just take a simple case, trim range, and I'm going to select this range here and close the brackets, and there you go. You can see the blue outline. It's excluded the blanks above and those below, right? So that's what we want. But this case, this is hard-coded from and to. Right? So we can use, let's say, entire columns. All right. Again, excluded anything above here and below. And with this one, we can add extra rows and it'll just include them because we specified the entire column. However, if I was to add another column, it doesn't pick it up. And that's because we've limited it to K to N. The other thing is, if there is data above, then it's going to trim from above that data. And I'll show you with this example. So let's go back over to this side here. Got some formulas which I usually hide. So if I were to change this reference here and say G to H, it hasn't excluded the data or the blank, the header row or last row and column labels. Okay, and that's because it's going to trim from the outermost edges, right? So we need to add an extra function to exclude that. But firstly, let's take a look at the sum formula that we're going to use. That way we know what named ranges we need to create. Now, if you're going to do a sum by row and by column, so by product equal to product and month equal to month, then you can't use sum ifs. So what we can use instead is sum wrapped around an if, and that was explained in the previous video, but I'll go over it really quickly here. Let's get rid of the equals so it doesn't highlight the cells. Right, so here we have a sum wrapped around an if condition. So the first condition here is our product range equal to selected product. Right, so where that equals to that, and, so the asterisk is the and the second condition is where our headers, so January through to June, is equal to C6, which is the selected month. So wherever those two intersect, we're going to return the corresponding cell within this data range, I6 to N15. Wherever there is no match, it'll return a 0. And then the sum will aggregate them. Now in this example, these are hard-coded references, so it's not dynamic. But we're going to use the similar structure, except we'll be replacing these hard-coded from and tos with a named range for products, a named range for headers, and a named range for the data. And we did that with the dynamic name ranges in the previous video. But we're going to do a similar thing with this one for 365, only the formulas are going to use the trim range. Now I've already created those, so let's take a look at the formulas. So if I go to formulas, then name manager. Now this is online 365, so it appears here on the right with standalone Excel and even desktop 365, you'll probably get a pop-up window. All right, so let's start off with the headers. And this is the one that I created here. I'll just copy it down so we can see it a bit clearer. Now, when you have a formula in the name range, it's going to expect the sheet name as a prefix. I'm just going to remove it just to make the formula a little cleaner to read. When in cell, you don't need it. All right, so here you can see there is a drop and then a trim range. And the drop is going to be key to excluding the data above the trim range. All right. So let's take the trim range part first. Right, so this is going to trim row 5, which is the header. It's not going to trim any rows, so that's what the 0 is. And then it's going to trim trailing blank columns. And we could have used trim leading and trailing. The thing is, before the actual headers, we have other data here. So the only thing it's going to trim, if I did leading as well, is the blank in column A. All right. So if I do this, you can see that we've got 0. So that's the blank here in column A. You got product 4. So that's these two here. And then we got blanks in between, and then we've got the actual headers we're interested in. So this has returned that whole thing all the way to June, right? But I don't want these here, right? We want to start from product, right? So the way we do that is we do a drop, right? So come down to here. That is what this drop is for. So drop, and I'll explain this part. I'll just add it to the formula up the top. All right, here, drop, and then paste that in. All right, so this is going to drop no rows and then this many columns. So the number of columns we want to drop is from this one here, G5, or I could have used the entire column, G, and -1. So that way it's dynamic. If I hard-coded 6, which is F, and we inserted a row or deleted a column, sorry, then this formula is going to get messed up. So by specifying an actual cell, G5, or the whole column, then if we insert a row or delete it, it's going to automatically adjust. So it's going to go G5 -1 and drop everything from there to column A. And that gives us our headers from product all the way to June. If I add another column, it automatically picks it up. So now we have our dynamic formula. All we need to do is add it as a named range. Now, normally with standalone Excel and Desktop 365, all you need to do is copy the formula as it is and add it as a named range. With Online 365, you need to prefix the reference with the sheet name. So sheet 1 exclamation. The other versions will automatically add it. So I can leave that in cell as well. It will work the same thing. It just looks a little neater without it. So now that I have that formula, I can go to formulas, click on name manager, do a new, you give it a name, whatever you like to call it, sheet 1 underscore, or whatever you like to call it, and headers, right? And then in here, paste it and click save. So now I can just use it if I wanted, sh1 underscore headers. So we can use this anywhere in other formulas as well. So now that we've done the headers, we can do the same with the product range. So again, I've got the named range defined, formulas, name manager, and let's go to my product here. So this is going to be a similar formula, except we're going to trim column. So trim range, column G, trailing blanks. So that is going to give us all of this and trim all the blanks after the last product. Then the drop is going to drop the number of rows that are specified in H2, which is the header row up here, which is number 5. So essentially, it's going to do this and give us just the list of products. And as the products are added or removed, it will automatically adjust. Now I'll quickly show you what's in the header row formula. It is just row of row 5. And we'll do that to make it dynamic. So if we ever insert a row or delete it, then the header row will automatically adjust and all our other formulas will pick up the new value. So this is the formula we need for our named range. So I'm just going to copy it. You go to name manager, new, sh1 underscore, whatever, products, and paste it in and save. And once again, I can just use that in any formula. So if I just come to here, sh1 underscore, so you can just do that, right? I can add another product and it automatically picks it up. Right, good. So now we have our header and products defined as named ranges. What we need now is the data. Now I've already created this as I did the others, so I'll go to my named range. All right, this one is going to use the offset function. So this is the named range that I originally created. One we've created in this video, I can just change it to this. Headers like that, and I'll explain what this does. All right, so the header named range, sh1 headers, is this here. So what it's going to do is offset. It's going to go down one row. So that's what the 1 is after headers. It's going to go down a row to here. It's not going to shift any columns. So that's what the 0 is. And then it's going to expand that selection by the number of rows specified by H1 minus H2. So the last row minus the header row, which is 10, right? So from here, it goes down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that gives us our data, all right? Again, I can use this as the formula. Go to Name Manager, New, SH1, and call it Data, paste, and save, all right? Again, I'll just show you the named range and what it looks like. Equals sh1 underscore data. There we go. We've got all our data. I need to add the header. All right, 701, and we automatically pick it up. All right. So we've got dynamic data as well. Now, I'll just quickly show you the last row and column formula, because I talked about these in my previous video. I don't want to go into too much detail. It's essentially looking up column G for non-blanks. So this formula will return the last non-blank, and then it returns the row of that. Right, so it is quite commonly used. If you want an explanation of it, please check out my other video that I mentioned already. And last column is going to do similar thing, except it's looking up this row to find the last column there. Now that we have those defined, we can put them into our formula. So I'll just copy it out so you can see it a little clearer here. All right, so it's going to go sum if, again, as we did before, instead of the hard-coded from and to range, we're going to go, what do we call it, sh1. This is our products range, equals to C5, which is the selected product up here, and sh1 underscore is our headers dynamic name range, equal to the selected month. And then we're going to return the data. So sh1 underscore data. Right? And if I do an equals, we get 510. All right, let's see if that's correct. So product for May, 510. So let's just enable it, and I'll delete this one just so we can add some more product and see how it automatically picks it up. So I had the first one, it's increased the total already, second, third. Likewise, let's add July and add some data there. So for changes to July, it's picked it up. So product 4, 2, 3, 4. Right, total is 2846, which matches that one there. Right. Again, let's add a completely different product, different state, and let's go 1, 2, 3. Any number, doesn't really matter. Okay. All right, and we've got July, product 4. I can change this to product 5. July 456, correct. Let's pick March. We've got March here, 656. So as you can see, we've got dynamic rows and dynamic columns all working using dynamic name ranges with the trim range function. Don't forget, you need Microsoft 365, not only for the trim range, but even the drop function. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future videos. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.